Welcome back to Home Vision and a very good day to all of you watching this video. This is Dr.Gauthami Deshmukh and let us continue with our Organon of Medicine series. In this video, let us discuss about aphorism number 8 and its footnote. Let us first go through this aphorism. So the aphorism number 8 states that it is not conceivable, nor can it be proved by any experience in the world that after the removal of all the symptoms of the disease and of the entire collection of the perceptible phenomena, there should or could remain anything else besides health, or that the morbid alteration in the interior could remain uneradicated. So here, removal of all the symptoms of the disease and of the entire collection of the perceptible phenomena. The entire collection of the perceptible phenomena here means nothing but totality of the symptoms. Totality of symptoms. So the definition of totality of symptoms was given in the previous aphorism, that is aphorism number 7. So here this phrase, entire collection of perceptible phenomena, is nothing but totality of symptoms. Or coming to this line, or that the morbid alteration in the interior could remain uneradicated. Morbid alteration here refers to nothing but the disease. Okay. So, what Hahnemann is trying to explain to us here is that on removal of all the symptoms of a disease, what we can see is cure. So, it is impossible. So, therefore, he says that it is impossible to tell that even after removal of all the symptoms of a disease, there is something of the disease that still remains. So, therefore, he concludes by saying that removal of all the symptoms is equal to removal of the disease, which is equal to cure. So to understand this better, here it is. So this is what he says in aphorism number 8. Removal of the symptoms is equal to removal of the disease. That is removal of the symptoms as in removal of the totality of the symptoms. That is the perceptible phenomena. Correct? The perceptible phenomena of any morbid alteration is nothing but totality of the symptoms. That is, a disease is always represented through its totality of symptoms. So removal of the totality of the symptoms is equal to removal of the disease, which is nothing but cure. So he says that after removal of the symptoms, that is nothing but the removal of the disease, all that remains in the organism is health. And there is nothing other than health that remains in this material organism after the removal of symptoms. So this is the gist of aphorism number 8. Now let us read the footnotes to this aphorism. So here he says, when a patient has been cured of his disease by a true physician in such a manner that no trace of the disease, no morbid symptom remains, and all the signs of health have permanently returned, how can anyone, without offering an insult to common sense, affirm that in such an individual, the whole bodily disease still remains in the interior? So he says that if a patient has been cured by a true physician, okay, he says that once this disease is cured in a particular patient by a true physician in such a way that no symptoms are left, it definitely means that the health has been restored. And this will show, and this patient will eventually start showing all the signs of health after the removal of all the morbid symptoms. So, in such a patient, it is common sense to understand that the disease has been removed and health has been restored. But here we see that, and yet the chief of the old school, Hugh Fland, asserts this in the following words. He says, homeopathy can remove the symptoms, but the disease remains. So this is a very important phrase. Homeopathy can remove the symptoms, but the disease remains. This has been stated by Hugh Fland in one of his journals, and this is explained in the footnote to aphorism number 8. Okay. In footnote to aphorism number 8, we can see the remark that has been made by Hugh Flynn, which states that homeopathy can remove the symptoms, but the disease remains. But this is not true, is it? Continuing this he maintains partly from mortification at the progress made by homeopathy to the benefit of mankind, and partly because he still holds thoroughly material being of the organism, wherein it is dynamically altered by the morbidly deranged vital force as an altered state of health. But he views the disease as something material, which, after the cure is completed, may still remain lurking in some corner in the interior of the body, in order, someday, during the most vigorous health, to burst forth at its pleasure with its material presence. So he says that this statement, that is Hahnemann, in this footnote, he says that Hufeland has made this statement partly from mortification, partly from the uh, what can I say? Mortification is basically embarrassment. But here, Hufeland was not happy with the progress that homeopathy was making. So, because of this dissatisfaction or because of this mortification, he makes this statement. And partly it is because of the unhappiness at the progress that homeopathy was making. Hufeland makes the statement. And also, Hufeland believed that disease was being caused by something material. So, this is also one of the reasons why he makes this comment, that is, homeopathy can remove the symptoms, but the disease remains. I will explain this again. Let us finish reading this footnote first. So dreadful it is still the blindness of the old pathology. So while the blindness of the old pathology is believing in the concept of disease being caused by something material. So believing in the concept of the diseases being caused by something material. That is the material cause of the disease. Okay. So all those who are believing in the material causes of the disease uh, are being are being called as blind here. No wonder that it could only produce a system of therapeutics. So it is not a system of healing art, but it is simply a system of therapeutics, because all of these people, all of these old pathologists, they believed in the material causes of the disease, and they believed in looking for this material causes of the disease in the interior of the organism, and in their focus was to remove this material cause of the disease, and their focus was not to make the patient feel better. So no wonder that it could only produce a system of therapeutics which is solely occupied with the scoring out the poor patient. So this is what it says. So as I said, so in this aphorism, there are two schools of thought. Okay, one is the Hahnemann school of thought. That is, we know that disease is due to alteration in the harmonious vital force. That is, it is the deranged vital force which causes the disease. That is, deranged vital force presents itself in the form of multiple symptoms, correct? And these multiple symptoms, or the totality of symptoms, that is nothing but the perceptible phenomena is called as disease. So therefore, removal of this symptom leads to removal of the disease. So this is what Hahnemann teaches us. But Hufeland and the other old pathologists, they believe that disease is something material, and diseases are caused due to something material. There is the material cause of the disease, as I have already explained above. So therefore, according to people like Hufeland, who are basically being termed as blind, correct? So according to people like Hufeland and the other old pathologists, removal of the symptoms does not mean removal of the disease. So because they believe in a material cause of the disease, unless and until they remove this material cause of the disease, they do not believe that a disease is cured. So therefore, removal of symptoms for them is not equal to removal of the disease. Even after the removal of the symptoms that a disease is presenting, they still believe that something material still remains inside the interior of the deceased individual. So Hahnemann is calling this entire thing as a very blind method of treating patients, and it is a very unfortunate that people like Hufeland and the other old pathologists are going behind the material cause of the disease. So this is aphorism number 8 and its footnote. If there are any doubts, please do feel free to put them in the comment section below, and